How's it going, everyone? Big D here. It's time to review Tyrant Season 2, Episode 9, titled Inside Men and Outside Women. This is a spoiler review. If you've not seen the episode, go to fx.com/Tyrant. Watch the full episode there. Thanks for joining me. By the way, my Straight Outta Compton review and The Man from U.N.C.L.E. review, non-spoiler reviews, are out, so go ahead and check that out, guys. My new podcast, We Love Movies podcast, with my co-host, David Collins. Check that out. We talk about movies, casting rumors, trailers, anything about movies, man. We just talk about it. We have a fun time, and please go check it out. And that superhero podcast, season 1, episode 10, out also, talking about superhero movies and etc., etc. Let's get right to Tyrant, guys. Wow. Again, spoiler review. Make sure you saw this episode because there's a lot of juicy things in here that I don't want to spoil for, the minorities. Let's get right to it. So, Barry calls Molly in the most climactic way. It opens up, "Molly, I'm alive." Not gonna even get into that one. So yeah, Molly knows now. She's all pissed. She's being a bitch and everything. And basically, she breaks up with David because of this. Now she breaks up with him. Not really breaks up, but she's like, "You can go back to America. I don't need you anymore." She doesn't tell him the reason, because she's being a bitch. Ahmed loves his wife, and he wants to do everything for her. He wants to go away with her and everything. I don't think he knows yet, the whole thing about, how she may get exiled and all that. So, Ehab is accusing, there's two brothers, remember, and the brothers if you've seen the show. Ehab is accusing the guy of knowing secrets and everything, so he's torturing him, putting plastic bags over him and everything. Barry and Jamal talk. Of course, Jamal doesn't know it's Barry, at least from what we know. He's talking, and of course, Barry's name is Kali to them. Ahmed's wife is talking to Rami, and that's when Jamal's looking also, and he's kind of like, "I have to go, Kali. I like you." And then he's looking all stalkerish and everything. So the boy's getting tortured, like I said, and Lila is going behind Jamal's back. Jamal doesn't want Rami to have Kali's number, of course, because he's a general. And Lila ends up getting Layla or Lila. Yeah, Lila ends up getting the number for Rami. So he talks about a dream, how he was in the ocean, Jamal, and that he was drowning, and that you were just standing there. Lila was just standing there. She did nothing. So it was really well acted out, that part. Molly is angry at Barry, of course, like I said. She's just being angry and saying things like, "I wish you were dead. That would have been better." And it's kind of like, pump the brakes here. Did it ever go through your head? And did it ever go through Barry's head to say, "Hey, I did it to protect you. We're done. Now shut up. Move to another subject. Accept it." I mean, I've never been in that situation where they're into, but he needs to say the simplest thing. Say, "I did it to protect you. If you don't understand, then I'll just tell you later, but move on, grow up. Stop acting like a teenager." I mean, you've been married to this guy for 20 years or something, and you're like, "Oh, I wish you were dead." What are you, actually a child? Even Sammy's more adult than you. Jesus Christ. Anyway, putting her on blast. Sammy is learning how to shoot with this girl. Barry meets with Rami, and they don't even show the meeting one bit. That's one of the cons. I'll get to it in a little bit, but he doesn't even show him meeting with Rami. He's just already there at the meeting. I guess Rami doesn't know how an alpha he looks, his brother. The bro, he gives the spot where Barry's group is, the one who's being tortured, and they end up killing him. We don't see it happen, but he ends up dying, of course, and the other brother has to go with the Caliphate to go after Barry's group. The Red Hand, I believe. So a bunch of people die. Sammy is attacked. There's explosions everywhere. It's a Michael Bay film now. And it goes down, dude. One of the bro, he couldn't shoot a girl. And I wouldn't shoot her either. She's really nice looking. And Ehab's like, "What are you doing, you fool? You should have shot her." Ah! And he's like, "May God rest my soul." And I was like literally when the explosion, I didn't expect the explosions at the moment. I was like, "Ah!" And I thought Sammy was gonna die. I was like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Oh no, don't shoot her." May God rest my soul. Ah! I was screaming. I was like, oh, death, death, please don't death. Just everywhere, dude. It was crazy. I was like, I'm in a war zone here, man. It felt so awesome. Not awesome, but it felt real. It was like, this guy's dying, that person's dying, and it's brutal. I'm like, is this allowed to be on FX? Man, I know Sons of Anarchy is brutal, but damn, this is some hardcore Tyrant stuff here, man. So anyway, the girl kisses Sammy. They're under a car and everything, and she's like, I was waiting for you to do it, but I had to do it. Looks like I'm the man in the relationship. Oh, damn. Anyway, so basically, she gets up, and the way the camera angle was, it was so predictable. It was like, she's gonna die. Just the way that, and it was so quiet. When does anybody learn never to get up? Why don't you just wait an hour or two? You could have lived. But no, you had to get up freaking a minute after it went quiet. That's the worst time to go. You're in the eye of the storm, baby. Either way, she gets up and boom, 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 and she died cross-eyed. I was laughing so hard. I was like, ooh, dirty. Oh, cross-eyed. It was weird and funny at the same time. Either way, I don't feel sorry for Sammy, but still, the way that the explosions were going down and Sammy was like, like low, that was really well filmed and edited. Jamal wants Rami dead. I want him dead. You hear me? So okay. Barry yells, I love it because the actor who plays Barry, Adam Rayner, I believe that's his name. Fantastic. It felt real. He's the only, besides Jamal, who, he was like, Sammy! I'm not gonna yell loud because it's nighttime, but Sammy! It's like, he was doing it better than Dean Winchester. Sammy! Dean! Like, he was yelling, I can't find Jamal. I can't find, like, the way he said it, it was like, dude, this guy's freaking awesome at acting. He acts like, like, damn, you really are his father type of thing, dude. Like, he really was nailing it down. Maybe too much overreacting, but still, I enjoyed that a lot. And Molly calls, he's alive, he called me 20 minutes ago, blah, blah, blah. He wants to come back and fight with you. The Alpha Heat way. What did I think about this episode overall, guys? First off, the pros. The action in this episode was mind-blowing. Reason enough to watch this episode. Just the action itself was entertaining. The choreography, the effects, the practical effects of the bombs were so awesome than last week's bombs. This one was just a full-on assault. This is what we've been waiting for. The Caliphate versus the Red Hand Berries group. It's time to break the model and get this new project done. It's time to start a new world up in this place. It's time to take our country back, basically what I'm saying, in their world. So the practical effects were beautiful. The bombs and explosions looked real. It looked like a war zone. So I've never been in a real war zone, of course. I don't think many of you have, unless you're military, God bless you. But if you're not, and you've never been in a war zone, you just play Call of Duty. And this was better than Call of Duty, this whole scene constructed. Love the ending. I love the ending. I love how Sammy wants to come back and fight. That's awesome. I really do enjoy that and his enthusiasm. And again, the acting in this episode. Barry and Jamal, the two best acting in this episode, and the ones that stole the show. Jamal's speeches, Jamal's way, and I had a dream or a nightmare. I was in the ocean, and just the charisma and the enthusiasm that these guys have, and Barry, and just, it's awesome. Love the acting, man. A very emotional episode because you do matter, because the brothers are one of the most intense things of this episode. One's getting tortured, and then one ends up shooting himself. Like, that's deep shit. That's not funny. That's deep stuff, man. And watching that on screen, it makes my stomach unsettling. Yet, it just felt like, it's better to die than be a Caliphate man, basically. Again, intense episode, so those are my pros, guys. The cons, really, we didn't see the meeting between Rami and Barry, and I really wish we could have saw that. I want to see them two on screen together. because it was like he's finally meeting the general, you know, this is a big deal, and nope, I guess it's not a big deal, but they probably filmed it, but they cut it out of the episode. The whole reveal in the beginning when he revealed to Molly, I knew he was going to reveal it this episode, of course, a lot of people knew that, but why the first scene? Like, it was so, like, you got to build up to it. You were just kind of like, oh, well, I'm alive. And I'm like, wow. So that, and Ahmed's wife, I'm tired. I'm already tired of that. Like, ew, get her out of there. Who cares? I mean, no one really, does anyone really care if Ahmed's wife, why is she talking to Rami? I'm tired of Rami. I feel like Rami's going to try to get every woman in there for some reason. Like, I'm tired of the whole love thing between Rami and people, or like the talking to women and everything. He thinks he's so cool. He's just a general. F you, man. Oh, you're the president's son, so is Ahmed. So get out of there. Who cares, man? Ain't got no time for love. You're a general here. You're supposed to be going to war, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this Tyrant episode a B+. It's a good episode overall. The action is really what really freaking punched it up a notch, guys. The acting again from Jamal and Barry and Sammy himself too really brought some punches into it. Again, I don't care for Molly. I could care less for Molly in this episode. I don't like her. But other than that, everything else was good. It's a good episode overall. It really is bringing the season up more. Next week even looks better. So remember last week I said, oh, this looks good. We just saw this episode. Now next week, filling in the pudding. I don't get it. Overall, thanks again. Comment down below. Let me know what was your favorite part of Tyrant. Until next time, I'll be with you always.